Hey, fabulous listeners. You're back again. I'm so happy to see you. I'm Tiffany, and this is My So-Called Fabulous. Well, today, you've asked, and here we bring it, because you know what we're doing here. We're trying to help, and we are diving into the cutting edge world, the medical world out there of peptide therapy. Now, the dynamic duo I have here, I'm going to just go ahead and say and put it out there. They are friends. The woman in the house here, other than myself, was on my very first podcast over 5 years ago. So get ready to unlock the secrets of your own body's healing potential. Are you ready for this? Welcome to the show, Dr. Derek Page and Sheila Page.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. Oh my goodness.
We're excited.
I mean, you were on show 1.
I know.
This is 220, I think.
I know. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
Thank
But
you.
I mean, as I was saying earlier, even on your first one, you nailed it. So you're pretty good at this yapping.
It's just chalking. And remember back in the day when we were at a ranch somewhere and
I
talking
do.
about maybe doing a podcast?
Maybe doing a podcast.
Woof.
Yeah,
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Might have been wine involved.
A little bit. Just a little. Okay. I've talked to you guys about this. Derek, you're a chiropractor. Dr. Derek Page. You've been practicing in Fort Worth, and you're in the medical world. You've seen changes like never before. How long have you been practicing?
Over 38 years.
Over 38 years. So the changes in medicine are just enormous, and medical technology. So let's go into alternative therapy and alternative wellness. So in your practice, when the word peptide came up, can you think back when the first time you heard of a peptide?
Actually, yes. I mean, it was quite some time ago, but Sheila brought to me, she runs my office, my front office, and she is always looking for a way to supplement the practice besides just me walking in the door. And so she had talked about things like vitamins, and I can't sell a better vitamin than the nature stores and so forth. And they expire, and I have to throw them away. So there's problems with that. But when she brought peptides, it really piqued my curiosity, and I said, we need to talk about that one. And I can tell you specifically, it was shortly after I've been reading some research papers about, of all things, corn. And
Really?
how the production of corn is really high, but the nutritional value is very low. Well, they're making it for ethanol now, not for the nutrition of you and myself. And so these peptides can fill that void that has been genetically modified out of what we would call a natural food, you think. But in the Reader's Digest version of that article, it says there's not a form of corn out there that has a nutritional value of any substance.
Wow.
And so that's what piqued my curiosity about the peptides.
Right. Well, if you'll allow me, I'm going to go ahead and explain. Dr. Page and Sheila Page, they
Just
have
Derek is fine.
Derek. They have a thriving business here and a practice, and we have the doctor side and the business side. So when we're going through peptides here, we're going to talk about the business side and the science side. You all know I'm not a medical professional. We talk about it all the time on this show, but we want to bring the information to you. Now, I'm going to tell kind of a riveting story here. You are 2 weeks post second knee therapy, knee replacement.
Total knee replacement.
It hurts me to say it, okay? It really does. So, and my birthday party in January, he was just about a month out, right?
On the first one.
On the first
Just
one.
10 days out.
10 days out.
10 days out from his first one. And then now today, he's 2 weeks out. Okay. Derek started taking this peptide that we're talking about today in November.
I did.
Okay. So tell us about your recovery, because I think of knee replacement and I think I'd rather have a vaginal birth. I mean,
Right.
you haven't had one yet.
But trust me, yeah, it's not fun.
It wasn't fun. But tell us we're going to really dig in, but tell us about this, because I wanted people to understand what riveting information we have.
Well, the product we're talking about today is Make Wellness, and it's one of their flagship product is a product called Fit, and it's
I have it here. Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
And what it does is it has a through clinical research, and I'm going to look at the numbers here, 47% less fatigue, 4 times the protein synthesis, 103% of strength recovery, and 54% in strength recovery. Now, that doesn't matter if I'm working out or surgically incising a muscle or in a car accident. When they're damaged, this accelerates that healing process. Now, it depends on the person and what their goal is. If someone's working out, they're not worried about that. But it really accelerates. I can tell you, because my orthopedic surgeon's PA, when she came in, I was sitting with my feet kind of crossed underneath me, and she's, "What are you doing?" I said, "I thought I'd done something wrong." She goes, "No, get up here on the table." And I measured 128 degrees of flexion on my knee, and she said, "Majority of our patients only have 90 degrees at 1 year."
Wow.
And this was 3 weeks out. And I told her, the only thing I'm 68. I was here when the continents were still separating. So I'm 68, and the recovery, she said, was just phenomenal. And I mentioned what we were involved with, and the second one has been no different. And your birthday party, by the way, was fabulous.
Thank you.
And I would have been on the dance floor putting my swerve on.
Yeah.
However, I was more worried about someone bumping into me.
Of course.
It wasn't that I was in it. I just would rather watch y'all have fun.
Yeah. Boy, did we? Well, yeah. So you found that the recovery was much easier. Now, we're not even talking about just a knee replacement. I mean, this is just so astronomical of what happened to
It's
you.
major surgery.
But if you cut yourself,
Mhm.
if you have an eye injury, this
Even if you're
peptide
just working out and you're sore the next day, this helps your recovery. This helps your hair grow. This helps the muscles. If there's a muscle somewhere, it's going to help.
Well, and I'll use it.
Yeah.
There's several products, 6 products that they have on the market now. And I was using the Fit with the other one that you might see up there called Hydrated. And it helps hydrate on a cellular level. And it has a carrier that helps get this to enhance the function of the Fit peptides.
Okay.
And I'll say what's better about Hydrated. That's a new punch flavor, by the way. It's really, really good. Whenever I take Hydrated or hydration supplement drinks, usually when we're traveling, go up to the mountains so you don't get a headache or whatever, they taste horrible. They're really salty or sugary, and I don't like either one, or they make me feel bloated.
Right.
And they taste great, and I actually drink 2 a day. They don't make you feel bloated or anything, but they do help. They're a supplement products to the peptides to help your organs function more at their best. And they're essential. And water is not enough. You need to have the proper minerals, and so that it can be absorbed correctly in your system and work properly. And there's also things like coconut powder and some other things that are good for beauty and health in there, and which is always a bonus.
Right. It should be noted that her hairdresser has noticed her hair is thicker.
She said, "What are you doing?"
I mean,
and I said, I've noticed that there's not as much hair at the bottom of the shower either. And sometimes it's all hormonal and things, but when someone who does your hair every 8 weeks notices, what are you doing differently?
Wow.
Then it's not just from, not my head.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what is a peptide? Do we all have peptides?
Yes, your body produces them. The production gets less and less as we get older because of time and because of our diets with the ultra processed foods and so forth. And our body, we're hunters and gatherers by nature. The Blackmon Page tribe, maybe we hunt down a deer. We eat like kings and queens for a couple of days, but we store the rest because we may not see another deer for a couple of weeks. And so we're programmed to store excess, but now there's a deer on every corner. Some of them are named McDonald's and some of them are named Whataburger. But the programming of our body still wants to keep storing it. And so these peptides are cell signaling. What that means is right now there's if not millions of cell phone numbers pinging on our head, but only one of them will ring your phone. Mm-hmm. And that's like these cells, when they find the correct cell signal and plug in and activate that cell's function, not any different than you starting your car. Sitting in the garage, it has a tremendous amount, you mentioned earlier, potential energy, but until you turn that key, it will not express the job that it was designed to do.
Wow.
And so these peptides are fantastic at activating these systems. like we have with this Make Wellness product.
It's really incredible. One of the main labs that we use called Neuritas, it's in Dublin, Ireland. And we got to hear from the founder, one of the main doctors, at how they've come up with Peptistrong, which is the main peptide in fit. And it's incredible. And it talks about that even increasing your health, your muscle health by 2%, it decreases mobility by 17%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really incredible how important it is. And they're saying that truly your muscle health is the best anti-aging agent ever.
Really?
Keeping your health, when we all talk about getting older, we need to start using weights and stuff. This helps you maintain your muscle mass, and it helps with the toning. I mean, I've got some guns, my tiny little arms. So
Yeah.
it's working.
It's working.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
so go ahead.
I was going to say, in fact, you kind of glance over a point that I think is very salient in that after about age 30, we lose about 2+ to 5% of our body muscle mass per
Every
year as we get older. And that's what we see. But that's because of that lack of communication and these messages, these text messages, we'll call them, that are we call peptides. They activate the muscles or the brain cells or oxygenate the brain, the things that they're designed to do. And they've done this through AI technology.
It's fascinating.
It really is. It's kind of like if I said, once again, I would go to a car. If I said, give me your keys, I don't know where it is, but I'll find your car. I'll try every car in the parking garage, but sooner or later it will open the one door. But the AI technology is like saying, here's the key. It's on the 3rd floor, space 6. So it cuts out all of the avenues of trying to, locate that and trying it on every door. We go straight to the problem, and that's when it manifests its
And they can
desired
do
result.
200 years of science in an hour.
It's crazy.
So instead of manually having to see, does this work? No. Okay, let's try something. Start all over and try again.
Right.
It's just clicking and clicking and clicking. And it's incredible how precise. And that's where it's bioactive. So it's from plants and animals. It's nature. And precision, that's why it's AI technology and peptides.
Well, and I have a question, because I've experienced peptides myself. So I was searching with my breast implant illness, just any answers that would help me, and so peptides seemed to be the buzzword.
They're great.
A couple of years ago. And I did go to a medical practitioner, and the peptides were, and I assumed they were natural. I just did. And when I did call the person back, they said, no, they're not. These are pharmaceutical grade. So the problem I had with it, I was given 3, and I just got so sick, like nausea. And I get nauseous just standing here. But the side effects for me were tremendous. And I know people that have huge success on it.
Sure.
There was 3 different ways that they were administered, and I couldn't take them, and they expired, and they were very expensive.
Very expensive.
So what is the difference between what I did and what Make and you guys are promoting here?
The peptides that we're promoting are considered a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical. And they're somewhere between supplements and pharmaceutical. Doesn't need a prescription, but they're all natural. Now, the one you use,
Completely clean, no dyes.
in
They have
fact, there's a
list.
never list of things that will never be in any of their products. And there is ongoing research into other areas of benefit to the human body. But the main difference is you are using an injectable. It's a long chain peptide, and it's very fragile, very expensive, as you're well aware. And quite often has to be cycled, has to be administered by your doctor. The ones that we are talking about, the natural ones, are very short, where those are over 20 or 50 amino acids in length. The Make Wellness peptides are between 8 and 20. And so they're very small, and coupled with the Peptistrong and Apticurb, which are carriers that allow you to take these, ingest them, and they can carry them through the gut to the circulatory system and deliver them to the cell that we are trying to focus on through the cell signaling we mentioned earlier, to activate that cell to have it perform the way it's supposed to. But they're less expensive. There's no side effects. And what quite often will make you nauseous in some cases is your body perceives that you've ingested something toxic,
Or foreign.
foreign.
Mm.
Maybe you had morning sickness when you were pregnant. That's the baby's waste products go right in your bloodstream, and
Yes.
you didn't eat anything, but your brain says empty your stomach, because that would be the only way you could have naturally taken anything in.
Mm-hmm.
And so by using these natural the body knows what they are. They recognize what they are. They go, oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
And so but it's not just an on-off switch. It's something you want to build up over, 60 to 90 days to get a preferred
Yeah. You don't get optimal benefits for at least, there's 10 years of human clinical studies, and we tell people you want to make a commitment to at least 3 months before you just give up on it, because you may feel some changes. If you take Energized right now, you'll feel energized. It helps. It works, but you're not going to have the optimal benefits for at least 90 days.
Right.
And over time, it works stronger, it works better, and they work better when paired together.
They do.
Yeah, compound effect.
So with sitting in front of me now, if you're on YouTube, take a peek at this, y'all. We have 6 different boxes here in front of us. And is this what they offer, the entire line?
At the current time.
At the current time.
They're in research with 60 other products within the next 24 months.
Yeah, the next one is going to be for sleep, which Derek's really excited about because he doesn't sleep.
Right.
It's just,
it's hard to turn off my brain.
That's the
What's
problem.
left of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they all are like stick packs. You just mix in water, so they're easy to travel with.
Okay.
And we mix them because I really love the hydrated and the fit together. And now the capsule, the Focused and the Lean are in capsules.
Okay, that's what I was asking, in capsules.
And then Calm, you take like a pixie stick, pour it right on your tongue.
See, I love this they're administered like this because
so it's orally instead of injected.
And I'm so sick of pills.
And nobody wants needles.
No one wants noodles, and that was a problem when I took one of the. I can't. Oh, it's just a diabetes needle. It's a needle.
It's still a needle.
I wouldn't put a safety pin in me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And the one that the last one there is Lean is. It's a capsule also, and it's the one that I really, because it helps balance what's called ghrelin and leptin, which are your hunger hormone and your satiety hormones, and they tell your body when you need to eat, but they can get out of control, and your body's constantly asking for for you to eat. You're hungry even after you've eaten. Because remember, but we talked about before, we were wanting to store more for winter or that next harvest of an animal or a meal.
Right.
But this balances that out. So
that food noise completely out. So you're not thinking about food. So, and of course, it decreases your appetite, but it burns your visceral fat.
Fat only.
Only fat.
Everyone's heard
muscle.
of the GLP-1s.
So you're losing 100% fat muscle. And so it's burning that to make energy. And
which one is that?
That's the Lean.
The Lean. Okay.
And of course, Lean works best with Fit and Hydrated.
Let me ask you a question because I've done so many podcasts on semaglutide. I've done it on Ozempic. We've had the pros and cons.
To them.
We've had
they're good.
multiple, physicians and practitioners on here, and there's pros and cons,
of course.
But to lose weight wasn't the original thought process of
it was a side effect,
right? So this Lean. Does it cause the side effects of the semaglutides or the Ozempic?
No.
Why?
Well, because it's all natural. And the semaglutides, you may have heard the term GLP-1, and that is glucagon-like peptide. So that emphasizes how effective that's what they're injecting is a peptide. But this is a different form and a shorter form that can be ingested, not injected. But its effectiveness is because of its cell signaling ability to reduce your hunger, and in most of the research showed that it would alone would reduce your desire for more than 600 calories a day. I mean, they've got it down to that kind of a number.
And because it's your visceral fat, it's focused in your midsection. So even being small, I had a little chunky midsection on top that has.
I don't believe it.
It's
don't
shed.
Talk about me like
and
that.
I didn't know I had abs under there. I don't have a 6-pack, but I didn't know I even had any abs under there because it's been covered up with the layer for 30-something years.
So that is the lean.
Yes.
Okay.
So even if you're small, you can take it. I don't take a maximum dose. I just take a small amount.
Okay.
But it sheds the fat.
It should be noted the GLP-1, it is off purpose to do it for weight loss, but up to 55% of that weight loss is muscle mass. This is 100% fat loss, zero muscle digestion.
Right.
Okay, I want to make sure I understood this. So this lean, instead of losing muscle, if I started taking this now, and she and I are about the same size, Sheila and I, if you're watching on YouTube, the lean will not harm my muscle because almost, I can't say that anymore. I'm 60. At 60, like you said, we start losing muscle. It's dreadful. So this lean will be fabulous for me, but not lose my muscle, but any visceral fat.
100% fat loss.
Oh my gosh.
65% of that is visceral fat loss around the midsection.
It's the only product like it.
Derek, explain to the people what visceral fat is.
Well, visceral fat are greater omentum and fat around the midsection. The ones that we work the hardest in the gym to reduce. This targets those areas. And it would be another podcast to talk specifically about how that works. However, their research shows that 65% of the fat loss with lean is that visceral fat. And that's fantastic.
Fantastic. Because talking about, we're seeing as time marches on the side effects from the semaglutide. And there is, my brother-in-law was on the semaglutide, and he had type 2 diabetes, and it took care of it. It did what it's supposed to do.
That's what it was designed to do.
Exactly, what it's designed to do. And so an alternative for so many people. So let's talk business here. The alternative, are you finding that the public consumers are ready to hear this?
I think they like the option. I think that I think a lot of people are loving peptides. They do help, whether it's with NAD or even if it's Ozempic. They're happy with what they're taking. It's just the side effects they're not happy about and the cost. So to have an all-natural option that they can even take alongside a therapeutic peptide, because they're all natural and they have no side effects, they can still take them.
And I asked y'all this, but I'm going to make sure, because is there, let's say someone is on 3 prescriptions, this detox, whatever the case may be, they can still take all these things.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And don't be afraid of one that I know you'll love the flavor. And hydrated, there's one of the flavors is it's a grapefruit flavor, but it has a grapefruit extract in it, but it is not the kind that's going to interfere with any medicines or anything like that. And we have the science behind it, because that's very important. People hear grapefruit and I can't take it. And I wouldn't have been able to either with one of my prescriptions, but it's totally fine.
Wow, that is amazing.
But definitely, I think people are looking at, since COVID, we were all so sick. I think people, and with Make America Healthy Again, people want to take care of themselves. They're more conscientious of what they're putting in their bodies and what they're eating. And to actually have something that is pretty easy to use that will make huge differences is a nice alternative. You don't have to go to the doctor.
So people are wondering, is this multi-level marketing? Is it pyramid? How does this, because people, in the transparency. 100%. Tell us about the structure.
And I get asked that a lot. And I'm glad you asked, because no, it's not a pyramid scheme. Those are illegal. It is direct
Is it
sales.
a Ponzi scheme? No?
No, not. But it is direct sales. And this is a new kind, this is a modernized direct sales. The founder of this company, Justin Prince, is absolutely amazing. And he's been in direct sales on the side of being an affiliate for over 20 years. He knew all of the yucky parts of being in direct sales, and they've changed it. So it's free to join. It's free to become a customer. There's no minimum monthly purchases that you have to make. They've taken all the yuck out of it to where basically if you wanted to order, I could text you my link to the website and you place your own order. And that's about it. It's that easy. It's just like shopping from Amazon as far as that goes. There's no hidden fees or anything like that. And it's kind of, when they say network marketing, that's really what it is, because you're reaching out to your network. But whether you are a chiropractor or an attorney or real estate, you're looking to your own network to help support you. So I don't find it hard to reach out and ask people if they might be interested. Some will, some won't, and that's okay. I'm not offended. I think that, we've had a lot of individuals join us. We've had wellness clinics join us. We've had his physical therapists join us. So there's a lot of ways that this has become, it's been an incredible opportunity business-wise to have some residual income.
Sure.
On the side.
And it absolutely makes sense in a medical office.
If he's not in the office, we're not making money.
For sure.
And I have to say, when he was having these knee replacement surgeries, that was making us nervous, because he was told he was going to have to take 4 to 6 weeks off of work. And we cannot afford to do that, not once and certainly not twice. And for him to be back in the office after 5 days on minimal hours, but he's been working 1 and 2 hours, sometimes 3 and 4 hours, but he's doing so great. That's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, just
I
for
could
recovery.
do more, but why? I
Yeah,
don't
no,
want to
He's
get
still
to that
68.
fatigue
We don't
level
need to-
where
Sure.
I may have a stumble or something like that. So their patients understand that, and
Right.
we have it scheduled. And but it's where the 4 to 6 week period, I'll be back up to full speed in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Rather than
Just starting
in
back.
fact, my orthopedic surgeon, after he said, "Well, I hope you enjoyed your athletic career because you're paying for it
You're
now."
paying for it.
He said, I asked him, I said, "Do you have a therapist that comes to my house?" He goes, "No, I prefer you learn to be able to get into a car and drive to therapy." I said, "Well, if I can get in a car and drive to therapy, I can get in a car and drive to my office."
Sure.
And he said, "You got me there."
Oh,
And
wow.
so that's, as long as it was painful, I wouldn't have done it, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't painful.
Yeah, I just made sure that I didn't overdo it or push it. It's still
It's
healing.
not that he
I
hasn't been
understand that.
without pain.
You can't let pain be your indicator. I know that there's healing, months of healing to do,
Right.
but I would rather adapt to the level of healing of an active lifestyle
Oh,
than sitting on the sofa. And you understand that.
sedentary for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
You're a former athlete.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So would you, let's say you have a child that's an athlete, would you go ahead and have them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because you said, Sheila,
Mhm.
like working out, recovery.
100%. But even more so, if you're sedentary, if you're 60
Oh.
and doing nothing, you still need to make sure you're not losing any more of your muscle mass. But yeah, the recovery time, I mean, even, there's, of course, we live out in Aledo. Everything's sports. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a huge interest with the, the 15, 16, 18-year-olds, whatever, and college age, using these products, because there's nothing illegal about it. You can still do bodybuilding and pass all the
Pass all the tests for
It's
natural.
all natural.
Right.
But these
if
make
you-
significant progress in healing and performance and strength recovery. It's significant to where they're noticing. In fact, some of the guys, it's cute to see. There's a Facebook group people can join for testimonials from real people.
Mm-hmm.
And 18-year-old kid getting up there going, I'm benching this now. And,
Yeah.
and I've never been able to do that before. And so it's really helping.
Just feeling good.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I didn't realize how much my youngest, Allison, was addicted to Red Bull
You
energy
said that.
drinks. Those are so dangerous.
So dangerous.
And she was like, "Will you get me some Red Bull?" I was like, "No, ma'am, I will not." And I used to drink them too, but they're terrible for you. And, they're terrible for your adrenals, and they're sugar, and they're that pop and drop.
Mhm.
And this is an all natural, non-stimulant, slow release. And she loves the flavor. It's kind of a blueberry. And she drank it, and she was telling me, she goes, "Mom, I love that." And she goes, "And it didn't make my heart go pitter patter."
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's not supposed to do
Then
that.
add vodka to it. How about that? Let's add some.
Well, it's designed to be a slow release from a coffee bean extract.
Wow.
That doesn't, like she mentioned the term pop and drop. That's kind of a common term with, you hit the wall and your adrenals are, you have to have something else, another caffeine shot to get you back up. And this is a more natural way to do that.
Right.
And even she didn't know what it was, but she just knew she felt better using this than she did the energy drinks.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen anything else like this on the market?
There's not anything. And I will say that there probably will
Sure.
be. We are the first company to come out with bioactive precision peptides. We won't be the only, I'm sure. but we are the only ones with these formulas, and we're ahead of the game. It's almost it's an untapped market because there's really not any competition. And I would say we have an unfair advantage at this point, because especially with the AI technology and the labs that we're using, we now have relationships where they're only going to work with us.
Proprietary.
So proprietary blends and only working with us.
Right.
And there's new categories we're going into, like sleep, gut health, brain cognition. That's huge.
Huge.
I mean, I struggle with my memory. I know that the Focused helps me stay on track daily. I actually accomplish things because I work from home a lot, and sometimes I feel like I don't get anything done.
Right.
And now I'm truly able to. I mean, Derek said, "You look like you're nesting. Are you pregnant?" Because I was organizing, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was just getting stuff done. It's really working, and it's the Energized working really well with the Focus. It's the combination. It's just interesting how they all go together.
Okay, so the Focus, let me ask you, could this be a replacement for ADHD medication?
Yes. Now, it's not going to give you the same, it's not a drug. When, like our daughter-in-law takes it, and my daughters both take it, some form of it, and they're weaning themselves off. But yeah, it's a different feeling. In fact, my son struggles with stress and anxiety, and he's using the Calm instead of Xanax. So these are huge.
Wow. Huge.
Milestones.
Huge.
That are just from small little changes. You're making huge changes in your body.
How long have you been using?
Since November.
So it's November's when y'all started, because you started talking to me about this in July, I think.
Did. And I didn't know what I didn't know what a peptide was, but I knew you did.
Yeah.
And that's one reason I reached out to you.
Yeah.
I was like, what
and
do you
my
think
sister.
of this?
My sister, yeah.
And I reached out, and you said, I know a little bit. Let's talk to my sister. And we went down these rabbit holes of trying to figure out, because actually at the very beginning when I brought it to Derek, he said, that's not going to work. That's not going to survive the gut.
That's what I was about to ask.
And
were you skeptic?
Yes.
Initially, that's
Huge.
true, because I think we missed the word that they're very fragile. And analogy I often used is a mechanical pencil.
Right.
That you push out too much lead and it breaks.
Yeah.
You can't write. That's the injectable, because once it gets to the liver, it's going to be broken down. But these are just enough to write. They're very stable, and that's what
It's
allows
like the
them
Indian pencil, the big thick one.
Yeah,
Big as a crayon.
It's the difference in just the stub end of a pencil and a long pencil. It's almost impossible to break that little pencil, but you can break a big pencil very easily. But their stability is in their size. And the deliverability with the Peptistrong, and that gets them into the bloodstream and help deliver them to the correct cells is what's the beauty of this.
Wow.
But what she was saying, I didn't think that was possible. So I actually got on the phone with Dr. Alan Jones, who's the chief scientist. He took my call. And I said,
he had so many questions. We kept pushing him up. And he said, I'm sorry, Sheila, I just can't get on board till I get all these questions answered.
Yeah.
And so they said, let's just put him in touch with Dr. Alan Jones. And we're like, starstruck. So anyway.
And it worked.
And then they talked science for like an hour.
Yeah, and it was interesting. And I told him, kind of use that analogy with the pencil. And he goes, no, it's different. It's like that full pencil without the wood. That's how fragile injectable peptides are.
Just the lead.
Yeah. And so, but he comes from a farming background. So everything just kind of clicked for me, because he understood my analogy. I told him about my corn. He goes, that's right. They have these fertilizers that are now just producing quantity, not quality. But back to where we started. I mean, he's the one that was a skeptic also about it being able to cross, because he'd been studying the body's
sarcopenia.
The sarcopenia was his research for his PhD.
Wow.
And so sarcopenia being the body losing muscle mass as we get older.
Yeah.
Very
and
scary.
he saw this as
So he was riveted.
His passion won me over.
Won you over.
Well, he said this is the first, and he's been in this industry for 35 years in manufacturing and working with different peptides. And so they're all therapeutic or whatever. But he said this is the first thing in 35 years that was new innovation, new science. So he was just like on the edge of his seat. And he was like, yes, I want to be a part of this.
Wow.
And so he was part of helping with the, what is it? The where it goes through your system.
Let me have a. No.
I need more focus. But how it transmits through your body. He was part of that process because the delivery system.
The delivery.
I figured it out.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's that from the gut into the bloodstream.
Okay.
And that stability is because it's shorter and much more stable. It's harder to, like I say, break a pencil this long than it is to pencil that's this long.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, can we afford this?
Actually, I think so, especially if you're used to therapeutic peptides.
For sure.
They vary in price. They start about $50 a box, and that's a month's supply. They go up to $119, which is
A box.
probably the fit.
Okay.
Mhm. And you can buy them in bundles. So there's the muscle and metabolic, which would be the fit, the hydrated, and the lean. And then the mind and motivation, which is the energize, the focus, and the calm.
Mhm.
And you can buy all 6 together and save even more money.
Mhm.
And you can buy, like I said before, you're not going to get optimal benefits until at least 3 months. So you can save more money by being on the subscribe and save program. You'll save 10% the first 3 months and then 20% after that and free shipping. That's what most people do. I would say the history is there's 65% of reorders. People are liking the products and they're working.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
always good
we
news.
we can
Yeah.
attest to it because Derek kept saying, you know, Sheila, the science behind this is incredible, but let's just see if they work. You know,
Yeah, of
'cause,
course.
you know, you're not going to. He wasn't going to recommend them to his patients.
No.
To recommend something
Until he
that I
tried
haven't
them.
tried
No.
myself. And that recovery from the first knee surgery,
That was
and I had never had one before, but the response from my orthopedic surgeon, in fact, when I saw him before this last week, he said, if all of my patients responded like you, I'd be considered the greatest orthopedic
Yeah.
surgeon in the world.
For sure.
He was in the top 1% of recovery, and at 68, that included 18-year-olds.
That's
I
crazy.
can't tell you anything I've done any
That's the
different.
only thing you did differently.
Yeah,
Huh.
nothing differently. Huh.
So that's
Is
spoke
anyone
volumes.
concerned about the safety of this? Anyone talk to you about safety?
No, but of course, if you're on medications, if you want to take it to your doctor, if
Sure.
you're pregnant, I mean, we're not.
Maternity.
I'm not a doctor.
Maternity.
Right.
But pregnancy and lactating, do we know?
Well, some have. So, I mean, I would say talk to your doctor, make the decision for yourself. They are all natural products, but I'm not going to necessarily recommend them.
Nope.
I'm not a doctor.
Mm-mm.
So-
No.
You mentioned a term that I think is very important, lactating. The first peptide we all received was mother's milk, and it's lactoferrin. And it took your mom's immunity and transferred, that's how powerful these peptides
Yeah.
are, transferred it to that baby through the mother's milk with that lactoferrin.
Right.
And that's a peptide that was doing that.
Wow. Okay. Well, that says it all right there.
Mhm.
You wrapped it up very
Yeah, I was just
perfectly.
going to say, I was like, wow,
Wow.
pretty bow.
Okay. Like, whoa. He only had a
Yeah.
knees. He has new
Yeah.
knees and now just walks it, put it through
Yeah.
the ballpark.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh.
would say this is a new company. They did pre-launch on October 28th. We started our real launch March 8th. But there's nothing new about this with the people involved.
Right.
They've been in this business for a long time, and they have superior expertise. The executives they have incredible knowledge, and I feel like we're in really good hands,
Good.
business-wise as well.
They've
Well-
taken other companies to the moon and back.
Yeah.
And they
Wow.
think more of this than the companies that they've done that with.
That's amazing.
Sheila
And
knows
they've
more.
privately invested with their own money, so that speaks
Well, that
volumes.
speaks for themselves. Exactly. And isn't it nice to be on the ground floor and
It is
something new and exciting?
Yeah, and people say, "Oh my gosh, and yes, you know, we signed up and we wanted to learn more about it. We weren't going to promote anything until we truly had tried the products, but now that we see that they're working, we can't shut up about it."
Of
I mean,
course.
if you go to my Facebook, I'm sure my friends are like, "Oh my God, one more peptide.
She's back. She's
Stop
back.
it. Stop."
I know.
But we're so excited,
Yeah.
and it's changing lives.
Yeah.
It's really helping people. So
Well, in the show notes, we're going to list how we can
Mhm.
get in touch with you. And
if one of your friends has reached out to you about Make Wellness, go back to them.
yeah,
Find out what they were talking about. And if not, I'd love to help you.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. How can we find y'all
Okay.
on socials and websites?
Yes, for Instagram, it's Sheila Page 1, and Derek is Fort Worth, Cairo. But if you go to makewellness.com, it will route you to the nearest affiliate. You can purchase through them, or if you want to call me and discuss it, reach out, message me. I can help you walk through the
Mhm.
process. I want to make sure that people are getting the right products and taking them the right way and have the right expectations.
Sure.
So you don't want to just like purchase them and walk away. I feel like you need to check in on people and see how they're doing. Because, for example, when I started taking the lean, at first it was right after Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think my stomach's hurting. You know, and he goes, well, are you taking the hydrated? And I was like, no, I'm afraid it's going to make me bloating and feel bloating. He goes, are you kidding me? We're supposed to be promoting these products.
wow.
And I was afraid it was going to. And so I started taking it, and sure enough, the bloating went away and everything was fine. But I thought, you know, if I'm not following directions, I need to make sure other people are too.
Absolutely.
You know? So
I do want to add that a tremendous advantage with Sheila is that she has been to their national convention, the only two national conventions they had. She has more knowledge about the business side. And
I
the
got
product.
to meet the founder.
She's met them all, and
chairman of the board. And
I was
the
undergoing
scientist,
surgery.
Mark
Just that
Jones.
I couldn't travel at the time, but
Sure.
it is. She is a wealth of information. I'll take. This is what I recommend.
Sure.
And the patient have say, I spend more than that on vitamins.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
And,
But
that's
and
right.
it's truly working. A vitamin, you may spend a lot of money and just flush it out, because if that's not what your system is needing, if there's not a receptor for that particular vitamin, you're not going to attach it and get the benefits.
Well, I
as I
love
say,
this.
you're making expensive urine.
That's exactly.
That's another way to wrap it up.
Exactly. That'll do it. That'll do it.
My
Well,
goodness.
that is great. Thank y'all for being here
Thank
today.
you for having
It's
us.
just
It's
such a
exciting.
pleasure.
It's an honor to be here.
Well,
with you,
I-
Tiffany.
Especially when you understand peptides.
Yes.
It's fun to
Yes.
talk with you about it.
Yes,
I
and you know
appreciate it.
I'm here just to spread the word and help everyone.
Listen, I brought you some so you can try.
Oh, I can't wait!
Yay.
No side effects unless you don't do it right.
Right.
I
Be
know
sure
who
and
to
take
call.
the hydrated. Yeah,
I
turns
know who to
out.
call. Oh my
we,
gosh!
we actually had one person that was doing the GLP-1 and the lean, and they said, I have zero appetite now.
So you get to back off. You
Have
can
you had-
take them together. But
Ah.
You can, but for that person, it was like, I don't have any appetite. It was their body breaking down fat. But you just have to listen to your body.
Oh, absolutely.
But
and
it
I'm a
wasn't-
huge fan.
It wasn't bad. They just said, I'm just not hungry at all.
Yes, and
You need to eat your
advocate for your own
protein.
health.
Gotta eat your
Absolutely,
protein.
absolutely. Well, thank you guys, and
thank you.
thank you all for listening in today and watching. You know, we're on YouTube. Take a peek over there, and you know what I say every single Tuesday: keep being fabulous.